Hey. Nope. That's the one. You got it. Cool. Oh. Let's get started, shall we? No, we're on the first one.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Okay. So this starts off very differently to the other games. Supreme Court accused the radical defendants on Chamber 5. Still can't believe it. I still can't believe this thing. How can it be that just beyond the doors of this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan waiting to decide my fate?
What?
Oh, nothing.
Here you go, Glass. Murderer.
Sorry. My name is Ryonosuke Naharuhod. Let's try that again, shall we? My name is Ryusuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Union University. A few days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial.
He isn't obligated to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer?
Yes.
And until the judge has given his verdict no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Rinsuke?
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry.
What are you apologizing to me for?
Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. Really? Emma? I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry.
There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspaper these past few days. My university professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you?
Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone.
Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up and hold your head.
Why? You mean...
I believe you. I know you're innocent, Rinsuke.
Kazuma Soggy, my best friend. Also in his second year at my university. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive. Oh, it's not that impressive.
That's the very concept of lawyers. Only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you. Oh,
But I'm proud to have a friend like you, cousin. Truly. 3 days ago. Yeah, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. Looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last.
No. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court.
You'll be representing Japan and you'll immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud. As your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around this temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system.
That's why I have eyes to cross the ocean to see the real thing. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes.
The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too.
Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's city of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going.
Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little while longer.
Good idea. After all, not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. You in English class tomorrow then, partner.
It wasn't straight after that. It was straight after that. That's when it happened.
Okay, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Go away. You should go immediately. The judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. Your advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision.
I've just noticed that this volume's way too loud. There we go. Who? This man. I feel as though I've seen him at university before.
I see. I'll go at once.
I shall accompany you.
Alright then. Feeling scared? I'll see you in the courtroom.
Yeah, thanks, cousin.
This is awkward. Blimey.
Yes, sorry.
Must be the defendant. Ryusuke Naruhodo.
Yes, that's right.
My name is Eugene Victor. I'm the professor of forensic medicine at my university.
Professor Nicotoma. Heard that? As I recall, pushing to get the government to agree to cousin is studying abroad.
Son is told me about you. You would be best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, he's been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. As I suspected, you are unaware of this. I have a feeling I may have chosen not to tell you.
He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing?
The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. Very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances.
I don't believe it. But I can do it, I swear.
I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities of today's trial.
Sorry? What do you mean?
You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway.
Then what should I do?
Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction.
Right. So...
As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do.
I do? But what would the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you?
Of course not.
The
defendant. Please proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem period. The repetitious discussions ought to be cut short. Allow me to summarize. As a risk, I must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? You want to be found guilty for failing to appear? But moving. No point in anyone advocating for the lighting room anyway.
This is it. His trial goes badly. Casimir's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. Trial that would decide my destiny. 22nd of November, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Jurisdictional Courtroom, number 2. So this, the courtroom.
The Supreme Court of Juriaksha. No court in the land has more power.
I don't like the looks of those people sitting up there in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms are up there.
Powers that have been demanded. That be a secret. This be a secret.
Secret trial?
A trial that's closed. Ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend.
What? Why?
It'll become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate on this game. It's about to begin. The court will now hear the trial of Rios in Navajo.
The prosecution has already acted sincere.
As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request being for a change of advocate.
That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself.
Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy. We decided 2 days prior to the trial. This is an unusual circumstance. I'm obligated to ask for a final confirmation. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial?
This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant? But then, if I say I do, I need to answer quickly. What do I do?
Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I am standing here beside the defense.
Yes!
He's just so on edge. He's so on edge.
What is the meaning of this unruly outburst?
I would like to inform the court that I, Ryusuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself.
What?
I think Professor Nicotero told me everything just now before the trial.
Did what?
He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose.
How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. Do you think I won't be able to get you off?
Oh, no, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I would need a reason that
Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. That's what we could do. Would have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court will hereby recognize the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial.
Well, does he accused in the defeat already? Announcing his own counsel? Really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. And that's so narrow.
Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly wasn't what I was thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank.
I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered.
Well,
We may investigate to be brought before the Supreme Court. You must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Jurisdiction of Japan. Accordingly, you will have very high standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, defendant?
yes, Your Excellency.
It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken.
My competence? Examine.
He's questioning your ability to do the job.
You can't be questioning more than I am.
Let's start with the very simplest question.
Oh, yes.
Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case.
That's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. Wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again?
Williamsky. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank.
You know me so well?
All the relevant information in this case can be found in the court record.
But I can't even find that.
It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of RB.
A press of RB?
If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there.
Just have to press RB for the court record. Alright, there's no kind of news. Here's RB. This is a list of evidence cited. I'll try switching to people instead of RB. Instead with RB. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press B to go back. Remember, everything to do with this current case can be found in the court record. Now, better not keep Its Excellency waiting any longer. 1. Find the victim in the People section of the court record and press Y to present.
Yes!
Yes! Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England invited to Junior High University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the exact reason why his case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you are aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There cannot be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. What an odd-named treaty. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yuma University, are you not? Marrying a professor from the very institution that provides your education? Have you no honor? I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting English policy makers. And you're a convenient and expandable scapegoat to blame for this crime. That's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, isn't it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yeah, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. The nationalities and trees won't make any difference for me. Here. Fact is, I was there, at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time, I better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. You're an English customer then, partner? The British Empire. Wow. Incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still. I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table. Introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Morado. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? Before the cause of the death. The cause of the death? Well, obviously that was, remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? How? Only piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death is what present.
Yes!
Yes? Well... According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The post-mortem report. In the West, the doctor dissects the corpse to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. Here in Japan, the police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. Well, I'm not going to be tested for any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet holes presented, used by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range.
Thank you, Counselor. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence in super record.
The photographic print of the victim has been added to the court record. This photographic print, wow, is something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well. I'm satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Hey, Lara. Yeah, he is very unprepared. Without further ado, in order to better appraise the court of the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. You mean Dr. Mikitoba? Yes. Clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean I can't still act as your assistant. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Ascoi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe. But any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Ataru Osonaga. I am the head waiter of the Western-style restaurant called Le Carnival. You alright? You seem to be coughing up some... It's a regular occurrence. That doesn't bother me. Well, it really, really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants. Understood. Also, notice him. You kindly tell the courts everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer, may I please? Oh, aspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We had few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits with my memory too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman slumped in his chair. Standing immediately beside him, hand in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Hold on, let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. What wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. Next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized. You'll have a chance to fight back. For now, we must quietly listen to the witness. I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man you see here in the courts today. Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? The fact that he's putting that on the towel is really concerning. No. There was no one else around the table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table. What's the matter, Ryunosuke? That's just not right. I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello. There was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have just missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? I'm not interjecting. I desperately want to say something, but hold not to interject. That's going to ruin this towel. It's not even that, it's just hygiene. The fact that this guy's allowed to operate in like a top tier restaurant and he's spewing blood up onto a towel. That's gonna get him closed down. Ryunosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? I suppose I am. I've never got into university otherwise. But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. Alright, you've scared me enough. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And there is something I want to say. I'm just gonna shut my eyes and say it.
Yes!
Yes! Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me, dear me. What are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. What could it be that the accused, this mere student is not a real lawyer after... Oh, could it be? Not a real lawyer after all. But I'm sure of what I saw.
Also, Naga-san,
Is there any chance you're mistaken?
perhaps your memory of events is hazy.
No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. You fairly old guy is just giving him a horrible advice. I mean, I'm not skeptical of him. I know the advice that he just gave him was bad advice though, so the fact was my hand was pushed anywhere. Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. He says as he wipes blood on a towel. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record. Oh, well...
Is there a problem?
Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are.
What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now.
I'm sure it's all right. Something certainly seems to have shaken. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. I don't like the prosecution. This guy. I hate him. So, the court has heard the basis of this case.
Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. The only person in close proximity to the victim was a defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you might have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn victim in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me this trial is unusual about these peculiarity. You said it. Professor Mikotada said it. And so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this.
I said from the onset, I believe you're innocent. Trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face. Is that it?
What? If the accused is in fact innocent, And the defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. That's bad advice. That's very bad advice. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? Battle hasn't even begun yet for you unscathed. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. I invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see how decisive this evidence really is. I don't think that's true. It absolutely isn't. That is absolutely abysmal advice. Indeed. Prosecutor Rakashi Ochi, please continue with proceedings. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Oh, how wrong that sounds. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witness. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witness at once. Do you say witnesses? Ah, two. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Isaiah Noza reported for duty, sir. I serve find employees a purveyor of fine articles and antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon. And to conduct my trade from Brusque Day, I humbled premise in the 2nd District. Kiro Courtroom at your service. I also like how the judge has a frown. Held in high regard in these games are the judges. Very high regard. An antique dealer and a soldier? What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other tables the waiter mentioned. I serve by inability take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question. Always post-noon. And not infrequently converse with the interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word the old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at the carnival. He seeks out potential customers who might have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares. He obviously targets Le Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner, which could only be described as an act of war, sir.
I agree with the other guy. I think this person is a fraud. You're the antiques dealer?
There was a black uniform rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir.
This man's as impossible to understand as the other. Oh, the main character, I think. Oh, he's definitely a fraud. He's definitely a fraud. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last one he said.
So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead.
Yes.
Well, you're starting to feel uncomfortable?
If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. He's definitely a fraud. 100% a fraud. Not guilty though.
You will state everything you saw at the precise moment of the incident occurrence. Oh yes, sir. What was that? Standing by, ready to report, sir. Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon.
I can't read, by the way. Ooh, gameplay. What the witnesses saw.
I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of particularly fine and gold curio to the military gentleman. At that moment, the precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian. And from the back, a cowardly little weasel. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously abandoned but absconded precious curio.
This guy talks so strangely. Half the words don't even mean anything to me.
Well, so you, Sergeant Noza, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second the defendant fired his weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. That cruel, unforgiving enemy. What times we live in where the English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day.
But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone.
Is that really true, Ryunsky?
Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that was lying on the floor. After I said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, and I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down as I was picking it up. Ooh. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there is a clue as to who that criminal is. There is? Ryunsky, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine. Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in these testimonies of the witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student of justice up to justice.
Certainly, the testimonies of the court has been heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict.
Yes!
Yes! Those eye movements are so perfect.
What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst?
I mean, the defense demands its right to a cross-examination. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hamachi headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Ooh, he's scared. Scared. Casimir is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witness. Alright, this is where the battle really begins in this game. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? I have to expose the lies in the witness's statements. How? He didn't fire the gun, which means what a soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right. Evidence.
All you need to do is present some decisive evidence. Indisputable evidence which proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryusuke. Don't let them beat you.
Oh, I love that so much. Just that little tiny tap. Alright then, it's all or nothing.
Yes!
Yes.
Why aren't you saying anything? Is this some new interrogation technique?
I haven't actually thought of what I wanted to ask. Ask about anything that catches your attention, anything that bothers you. They are super good. They come from the end of the 3DS era, which is when they actually proper nailed it. They nailed the animations. They're a little bit choppy in S25. Alrighty then. This beef steak you mentioned, what kind of food is that?
Beef steak is a delicious cut of veal, vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot.
Oh.
Food could receive medals of honor. Beef steak is almost as highly decorated as a cutlet.
Right, I see. Thank you, sir. So, next question. This cutlet you mentioned, what kind of food is that?
Cutlet is a delicious cut of veal tossed in breadcrumbs and deep fried in cooking oil. Accept your guilty verdict, atone for your crimes, and when you're released from prison, try it.
Yes, sir, I will. On the dollar, sir.
Sorry for the interrupt, but how about trying to stick to questions that are relevant to the case?
Oops. Sorry. I'll do my best. So, next question. Always the hand raise. Is it just me, or do you keep hearing yourself why? Negative.
Well, I guess we learned he's a big beef lover. Affirmative.
It's not easy knowing what questions to ask. Myself, with the virtues of finally going and carry out the military gentleman.
Yes!
Yes! I have no idea what you're talking about.
A Coben boy!
A Koban? You mean an old Edo coin?
The day prior of the incident, the treasure of exceptional value of the High Period entered my possession. I took myself to the restaurant the following day with the items secreted in my bosom pocket. In the hopes of an affluent I can't read these words at all.
Oh man. Being present. So, you were hoping to sell your Koban coin to Sergeant Noza, whom you met at the restaurant?
Yes, it's quite clear what you're going on about with this boy. You're about to assert that a soldier would have no hope in purchasing their precious Koban.
Not so.
Well... You little upstart cadet. You want to add disrespecting a superior officer to your list of crimes, do you? Blatant subordination.
No, I didn't say anything. Although penniless might just be the word I'm looking for.
In any case, the hour was already advanced beyond that of the midday luncheon. There remained precious few presents with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business. The gentleman beside me was grappling with his brazen veal at the time. Was my sole prospect.
I see.
At that precise moment, the firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes.
I think that's wrong. The photograph print that shows the victim. Well, he wasn't shot in the back, so... A gunshot to the chest. There we go, that's the stem.
Yes!
There it is.
What? What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination?
It's not subordination. It's insubordination.
Thrusting this wad of papers in my mustache.
Inconsistency, sir. I mean... Yes, there is a clear inconsistency here. It's that little tap. What nonsense.
What can this document possibly tell us that we don't already know?
Well, obviously. I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any other doubt, Your Excellency. There is no place for an amateur student here in the Grand Courtroom. This is so frustrating.
Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It could have been more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court.
Doesn't that? What?
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from the single glance of the post-mortem report presented by the defense.
There's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statements.
What? Sergeant Easier Noser.
Yes, sir. What, sir?
The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back the cowardly little weasel.
Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my very own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
Yes. But no, that just can't be.
And why not, cadet?
Because... As it clearly stated in the post-mortem report, fatal hemorrhage from pterodactyl ballistic trauma. No exit wound, bullet did not pass through the body. The photograph print of the victim clearly shows the same thing. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Ah! Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it?
Oh, you know,
What the? Was that something just popped out from behind his back? He pushed it back down again?
Certainly there is a clear discrepancy in the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Noser? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until...
Look at the child.
Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were, firmly fixed on the deliciously godless stick, sir.
What?
The last testimony the court heard was proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. The witnesses, Sergeant Easy and Noser, did not see the defendant firing the gun at all.
That's absurd. That's absurd.
I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom.
Oh my god. Oh, what a fireback. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. This is what being an ace attorney is all about. Hey, they said it. They said it. But I definitely saw him.
That university cadet right there. He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor.
And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I have already been quite clear.
You haven't though.
The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
You busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure.
Treasure.
Indeed. The Horia Kaban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habit to place it in my bosom pocket, a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Razzle Tie.
in the hopes of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you.
On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my high treasure. Believed that he would purchase such a rare find. I did not, but I was presented with a little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished.
The crown vanished.
Hunting around under the table I was, in case it may have fallen there. And then it happened. Bang! You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was only concerned with finding my absconded high treasure. Nothing could distract me.
Out of interest,
did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That was the day the precious Huay Kaban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself.
Although the accusations are just being thrown around every which way now. As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon.
Nevertheless, the witness's testimony to the court has just been heard was inconclusive. No matter how subverted our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Akaki?
Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate. They will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there was only one person who could have possibly committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Reinusuke Naruhodo.
He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear?
As clear as Gurgi of glass, Your Excellency.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Waiting signals to testify, sir.
This guy. I like this guy. But excuse me. But there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think.
Affirmative. Newest member of the Noza family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name? Ido.
It would seem the straps were signed with the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny.
Ido. Jean Shen.
Oh, it's Ten Shen. It's Ten Shen.
Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy.
This guy.
Even if what I saw wasn't the precious moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing.
Yes, the pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at this time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed. Alone he runs the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the English.
I've just noticed actually that that's a little bit too long. Give me a second. Okay, that should be a little bit better.
No one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Yes!
Wait, that's nonsense. Victim Dr. Wilson wasn't alone after all.
Please, enough of these outbursts already.
There was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
You call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of the fact.
Is this the photographic print?
The scene of the crime council. Indeed. Of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident.
As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set.
Certainly. Based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anybody else.
This doesn't make any sense.
The court will add this new photographic evidence to the court record.
I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before did the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him.
It would seem that we are able to telegraph the reports a great bit on time after all. The witness's testimony we have just heard leave no room for further doubt.
These are very sensitive political times. We all know the ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain.
And that I, Hachi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires with honor.
How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule.
Stand tall, Ryunosuke. Not over yet.
What?
If what you said is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes.
My internet is dying and the stream isn't loading anymore. Good luck with the rest of the stream. No worries, Ilera. You have a wonderful night. Or morning or afternoon. And I hope your internet gets sorted.
And now is your chance to expose it. To draw out the truth in your cross-examination.
I don't know, Kaz.
The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick. Understood? Rules can be so unbending at times.
true culprit. Even if what I saw was in the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost as if. I don't think it's that. Thinking as good as the foreign man he was, the young man in black. I made myself. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, dying by himself. The dual search the premises confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
Yes!
Yes. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
As you have been pains to point out time and again. I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have even caught a glimpse of this woman. If only there had been more people dying at the time.
Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant.
I know. Of course, the place was almost empty. That's what you'd expect.
Certainly. 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day and why he was alone.
Yes, Your Excellency. There was indeed a reason. There was?
This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel?
It's a medical report card, sir. It would seem that the victim had appointed at the clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Partial clinic. Yes, that would appear to be an entry of the date in question. Ooh! Angel Fire! Hi! Thank you for following. How's your day been? of November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really had no bearing on the case. I wonder, what do you think, Leonske? It's hard to say how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it's useful. Sure.
Yes!
That's brilliant. I'm glad you've had an alright day so far. You can still make it a great day. Court has already heard conclusive witnesses' testimonies. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request of the submission of the evidence.
Very well. The court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights, the most disturbing trend.
Oh yes, because we youngsters have rights. Oh, the world. Can they add the victim's medical report to the court record? What we need right now is new clues. Explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you'd like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you've forgotten that these witnesses' testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused or Akuda-san. Well, that's gonna be something that we've just picked up there. Medical reports.
Yes!
I think I'm just gonna have to press everything on this one. That's usually how they go with these games.
What did you say, Cadet?
I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it is not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter, whose testimony to the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said the victim was alone. That's right. The one is, it's in a game where the actual judge is competent. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands no further mention of this phantom woman to be made. This is a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work. You've gleaned some new information now. Yeah, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card we got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes. This is a brand new piece of evidence. But perhaps we should examine it a little more in detail. How exactly? You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press A, and we can take a closer look at the piece in question. I love this fact that they put this in the dialogue. Because if you said this in real life, you'd look crazy. Use right stick up, right stick left, right stick down, right stick right. Rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using left stick up, left stick left, left stick down, left stick right. can move the crosshairs around and clues. That may have been missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press A to investigate further. So partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use right stick up, right stick left, to inspect the evidence. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there's an entry for the day after the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although, I don't believe there's anything you can do to actually stop you feeling pain. Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours. Post procedure use anesthetic effects have passed. Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. So he couldn't have eaten anything. With this new information. I think it's time we listen to that testimony again. But we can object now. Confirm that no. And this one.
Yes!
Raise your hand. Well, I think, What? What are you whittling, lad? You call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Bianski. Everyone stumbles in their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in the cross-examination you just carried out. When you raise your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright. Thanks for the advice. Rokuda-san. This is the medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy? Compare what is written on this report card to your witness statement. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me. Have you forgotten my words so soon, amateur? Sorry? What? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateur drivel. Wait, let's see if I can explain in words what you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever you may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. That's... Remember, Riensuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Excellency, I believe we are finished here. There's surely no need to prolong this trial any longer. The witness's testimony of the court has been heard and is clear, it's concise. The medical report card bears no matter at all. And the reason that there is no one else beside the pale-faced pupil who could have possibly committed the crime. Oh, he did it! He actually did it! Do you really believe that? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hart's clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is this supposed to mean something? Perhaps. I told you that the victim just had a tooth extracted. What is this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating.
Just what are you trying to say, cadet? We had orders not to eat. So what?
It's all written up here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off.
What? No, that can't.
Poor Kuda-san.
What boy? What?
As you just heard, when he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all.
No.
Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of anesthesia.
Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What is this nonsense, you little upstart?
These are baseless accusations.
Just look at the photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food on the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? Oh, how dare you! I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant's case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryusuke? Yes, most definitely. So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. Just start turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating this steak at the victim's table must have been me. No, it's the unknown party. Obviously, there could only have been someone else sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
Yes!
There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we know we have the evidence of a half-eaten steak at his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that somebody else was there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It is clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push for a ruling at this stage,
We will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. Are you insane? You wouldn't take on the government? Don't worry, Council. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have an issue with them. What are you talking about?
We have demonstrated with evidence the victim was not alone. So if it turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury.
Perjury?
And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing.
Complicit in the murder? No! Negative. There was no mention of this in the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right. As the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Oh. What? What did you just say? Oh, no. You were just following orders? No, hold on, lad. I was,
Say you never saw the gentlewoman. When you say gentlewoman, what do you mean? You saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What's the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, your path? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Slip of the tongue. That doesn't even come close.
Counsel, explain what is going on here.
It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth.
Absolutely not. Prosecution knows nothing of this.
And who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well,
that is classified.
so you're prepared to be tried as conspirators in the murder then?
You wouldn't. This can't be happening.
Very unsettling. Judging from the way that they're reacting to all this, I'd say they were sworn songs by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe or she had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, with this kind of influence, there's only a handful of possibilities. It can only have been the government, the military, or police.
Well, any idea who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit.
We need to name whoever it is that tried to make these witnesses keep their mouths shut.
Of course. We need evidence before we make any firm accusation. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here.
But how? How can we possibly? Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have. Is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there is nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose.
I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you that penalty will be severe.
Please, Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god, I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about all this? Oh, Your Excellency. I'm trying to think. I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and shout out the first thing that comes to my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate these women.
Yes!
Now, what do you make of that? I think, Counsel, you may want to close your ears as well as your eyes. Otherwise, signs of disappointment in the courtroom may as well deafen you. I thought I was right. I have to use the influence I have in this court to shift it. I don't have a great deal of influence myself, but believe me, if you find otherwise, the way is to make you keep your mouth shut as well. Alright, don't get angry, I'll think again. There must be a piece somewhere in all the evidence in the court record. That's unexpected. What is? Look, you see the witness's name here? The Taro Hasanaga. Oh yeah, business cards tend to show the person in the name. What's the point? It's not the name that's unexpected, it's his job title. Oh, Chief Inspector, the Taro Hasanaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division. Oh, Inspector, what on earth? I have no idea. Let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. If they're wielding it somehow here, he isn't. Ooh.
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satara Hasanaga-san. The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Poppycock.
What possible reason could the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even the head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence.
For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter.
If he truly were? Trying to hit this court with the truth. Proof about Satara Hakanaga's ability is proven by this evidence.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question I agree that it shows a great attention to detail, but it's not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's the interest. I love how he's like, super, like, anxious. I beg your pardon? Well, perhaps I should have said the front. Yes, the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Also notice on sketched the plan on the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of the business card reveals the man in question. Profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession, but surely. Good gracious. That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What is a police detective? I haven't heard anyone mention this before. Why haven't I heard mention of this before? Imperial Police Division has immense power, absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witness, they're in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you the orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd be seen this foreign country gentlewoman as seen?
Well... Inspector Osamaga?
I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. To be fair, I should have remembered that. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. That is my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you say you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working at a restaurant waiter? Of course, your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover, you dimwit. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incident? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can't say categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well, Inspector Hasbunov. But you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from these two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence having served at the table in question. However, your testimony do not list of a person. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair. Beside him, a gun in hand. Thud, the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young woman, whom I guessed to be an English woman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders, you mean to say? Remove the English woman from the scene at once. It was made clear the English woman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this English woman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire's views of the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An English woman has been murdered on our soil. An English man has been murdered on our soil. We name an English woman as the primary suspect. Without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Casimir? My university is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. I am fairly concerned that one of them, studying in the medical faculty research laboratory, is a young English woman. You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. And the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The English woman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Zany Pratt. He is indeed a full student studying in the research laboratory at the University Medical Faculty. What is happening here? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how we deal with the situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise, namely that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have discovered that this premise is false, it would be desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Objection!
Your Excellency, That would mean missing the noon deadline for a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by our such actions.
Calm yourself, Council. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hasaganawa. Yes, sir. You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency.
At once, Your Excellency.
That means you're going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau.
As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So, it won't be a problem. Nothing will get in my way. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency.
Good. And we will have a 30-minute recess before reconversing.
Wow. Going through like voicing every single one of these is taking ages. We are saving our progress. We won't do the auto save, but we'll save in the top slot. $11:38 a.m. Excellent work, Rienske. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. Almost unbelievable. Looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes were popping, your knees knocking, you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you started finding us in the testimonies. I think you might have enough talent for being a lawyer. I get it. It's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see us inside of a courtroom again. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. This Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I'm trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying the entire time. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom. My powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. Oh, about this young gentlewoman. As my detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on the way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. Didn't you stretch your bed down to pick it up? I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet. He bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. I was thinking about the detective, who apprehended the suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area.
Well done, both of you. Professor Mikataba. Well, seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say.
Yes, it seems you planned all this from the start. You arranged things so I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial.
Our modern country is still in its infancy, our justice is even more, which is good. I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise. If I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste anyone's time. I'm going to study overseas anyway.
What are you saying, Kalama? The stream works for me again. I still think the main character is guilty. Welcome back. We've reached a point where I think we're off the hook. But we'll see. But that just stands.
I was afraid you'd feel that way.
Doesn't matter. Well then.
It looks like it all comes down to you then, young man.
To me?
Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case.
Not to think that you said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't we? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, do you know the victim?
Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor. And it was I who invited him.
I'm glad your internet's sorted.
Oh.
I see. I didn't know that before.
Anyway, we're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible.
Oh, rip. That's bad. It's the rain. Let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide.
Yes, I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I have no doubt your pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Besides, best of luck.
Thank you.
Now then, I need you to run an errand at the University of Police. It's something I think we may need.
Of course. Good luck. Kazuma-san.
What recess is over? Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's get in there and deal the decisive blow before these old fossils know what hit them.
Kazuma?
What?
Thank you. Really.
What for?
If you hadn't said you believed in me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already been found guilty by now.
Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend.
Coming from you? That means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. This isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial.
You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like in the Yumai cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course.
A lot has happened since you left. Oh yeah. Of which will probably become clear. Prosecution, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Sorry.
Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. Nothing to worry about.
Are both these people friends that attend the same law school? Our two main guys are. It's either that or they're just best friends. You never really went into detail, they just go to the same university, I think. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders? Again, terribly sorry.
It's the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, and the treaty isn't worth the paper that it's written on. We really have nothing to worry about, real estate.
What do you mean?
Secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government opinions, bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Always pushing things in England.
You do it, Kazuma, you do it. Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy. You and your friend know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with the great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert, I'm just a student. And one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here in our Supreme Court, there is one thing I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth of its justice system is a country with no future at all. Ooh.
Well said, Rinsky. Despite the wide-eyed look of terror.
Ooh. That was a dig. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system. It is solely the persecution of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. A visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett. Yes. Your Excellency. Oh, I'm loving this game so far. So at the top. Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine young gentlewoman to Japan. In such a distant land.
Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussion takes place without tea. Oh, what is this?
Is that true?
No idea.
So,
Could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. My name is Courtroom. I've been working undercover as a head waiter for the time. Yes, we know about you already. Inspector Hospital, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first.
is that true?
No idea.
More importantly, a little earlier, you said something to me.
You said your powers of observation are one thing you're sure of.
Oh yeah, I think I did, didn't I?
Yet your description of the amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Yinsky, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking.
Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if it may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. I can't read, can't read that. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but, what? Folks in Doctor Who. She's supposed to be British! She's supposed to be British! Just speak English, please. The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. It comes from London, England. She is a visiting research student currently enrolled in my university medical faculty. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the tones of a delightful language of the British people. This guy's creeping me out. Talks in Dalek. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yeah, I agree. You obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Your English doesn't rattle you at all, does it?
Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in English classes, Yansky.
Oh, right. Different London giant hats. I think that's going to be the perception of this game. And everyone who's British has a giant hat. But the reason is just hit me. It's just really hit me. Is these guys are supposed to be speaking Japanese. That's why we can't understand her. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking a stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, the restaurant called Le Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Because they don't understand English well. Exactly, so they're supposed to be speaking in Japanese, and then I assume that it would have been in English in the Japanese release. But then obviously when it came over and it got translated, they had to find some different way of obscuring it. And they couldn't obviously make her speak Japanese and just reverse it, so they just wrote it in handwriting. You may as well put it in Wingdings, I'm sorry. Is that correct? No translation. He says yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese. There it is. We'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting. And you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to catch your eyes over this photographic print? The weird grin on his face. Seeing as you were, so unfortunately, present at the scene of the crime, could be that your pleasant eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps. Apparently it was very frightening and sorrowful sight. What do you mean to say? Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Ooh, it's getting exciting. Order. Order in the court. Did you just hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have absolute conclusive witness statement.
Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described.
I want to see how this goes down. A frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused tucked the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. You can't see anything with that mask on, love. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. This is a command.
Yes!
Stop interrupting. No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Objection!
Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard. Look at the snow-white angel. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can even imagine whose words the court is going to believe. He's still making the same mistakes, really. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. He's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took the statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified it before and reported back to the Bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so, on that day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. What about that big hat you're wearing? I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in the outfit if she wanted to. Exactly. Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden the weapon can be shown, this is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. This is ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. That's kind of sus. Don't think about doing anything rash, Landscape. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun somewhere that day. You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. Ooh, grin. He's got a grin. Oh yes, Your Excellency. A frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered it for myself. Only a beef steak. After a while, the accused came up to greet the professor and got in a fierce argument. Well, what do I have? It's not going to be this. I like how it seems there had been like zero investigation done before they went to court. Yeah, that's pretty much the standard for this game. This series actually. They just like take it to court straight away and then everything comes out in court because the detectives in this game are so, in this universe, are just so incompetent. Oh, we didn't realise that he actually died from blunt force trauma rather than a gunshot. You know, to the kneecap. Ridiculous. Yes!
Yes!
I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over and say hello. Please don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant to the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I didn't argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all... Suiku Igurashio. Probably butchered that. I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only in the presence of a beautiful woman. Wow, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a complete straight face. I find something that will unravel the testimony, no matter how extremely insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat.
That part ties in with what you said, doesn't it?
Yeah. I still have some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when he finished my coffee, stood up to leave. Then not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes.
Yes!
Yes! Like I said, I did not shoot that gun.
Like I said, there's no point repeating that assertion over and over.
Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side. Nevertheless, defendant, you cannot deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand. Well, yeah, that's true, but... all I did was pick up the gun that I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yeah, that was someone much closer to the victim than...
Objection!
Let me read. That will do, you dirty rotten scoundrel. The baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy. It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours. What nonsense. The lady is merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway.
Yes!
Yes! That's all very well said, but can you prove it? Absolutely. I verified it personally. You verified it. That's the face. That's the face we're all making right now. Yes, immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not." That's all you did? You just asked her?
Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector?
No. Why on earth not? The Honourable English gentlewoman clearly states that she did not possess a weapon. There is obviously no need for future probing into the matter. Or there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps? Think what you will, but if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts. In other words, he wants evidence. The lady wishes to point out that, of course, she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation. But she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your officer told you to get the woman out of there. Not to get her out of there, I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she was in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime. Which is why she's only too happy to cooperate and testify here in court today, of course. Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you. Though she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor and at the end of which you shot him, which is an out and out, totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast, you are dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I am dressed exactly the same way as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Well, anyway, this is the only chance to expose the testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even with your thick skin, you must be able to feel the murderous look you gain from around the room. Only too well? I feel half dead already. And the fact I can't see single inconsistency of testimony isn't making me feel any better either. The first thing we do, press her on any statement that seems even slightly off. Do that, and an opening will present itself. I promise you. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind this mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination. Better ring room.
Yes!
Yes, we'll just press everything. After 2 PM in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, is it not?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are en vogue. Isn't that right? Ooh! No! Ugh. Oh, yes! A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. It was apparently a daily occurrence that they would eat lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late.
Yes, that all makes perfect sense.
Such wonderful logic from a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is. You both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? Alright. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only. Beef steak.
Yes!
Yes. He was unable to eat, you said. And that was because he had decided to remove at Hotter Clinic, correct?
That's right.
You're supposed to actually check with the witness before entering?
Was Miss Brett aware of that fact?
It seems so, yes. You heard from the professor. But the professor was to have some dental treatment. That would mean that it was you that ate the steak pictured here, right, Miss Brett? That is correct, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was after I left the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left. Dear me, what a harrowing experience. I already know what the inconsistency is. To have travelled to such a distant land, the far side of the world, and to be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. To the victim, Dr. Wilson had nothing to eat or drink at all. That's correct. Other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes. The professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. It appears the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. Each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think? Other words to that statement? Very meaningful. Still failing to whack the desk properly. The last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case.
Well, how fascinating. Do tell us what is this profound bearing,
The significance of this statement will become apparent when the time is right.
The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony.
Well sidestepped, counsel.
Very well, Miss Brett. Now the report is said to be added to your official testimony.
Gladly, he said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryansky. I ordered a beefsteak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water.
Yes!
Yes. That's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table of the crime scene, but it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, that is, it's odd. Very odd. Dear me. What's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. Ryansky, what is it about the print that looks so odd to you? Well, obviously it's the cheers. Cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on this table, not 1. Ah! You're quite right, Counsel. There is only 1 glass pictured here.
Objection!
Are we supposed to be impressed by the nitpicking over the minute? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Objection!
Minute, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed the glass from the table to consider the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try and tell me that you can clink with only 1? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady just say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was also terrifying. Everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try and hide the fact that I'd been there at all. Good gracious. Sorry. The mask's gonna break. When we break it down, that mask's gonna break. There, I assume, as I showed the code before, there is no consequence at all. Oh, please. You must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in a state of disarray? That's absurd. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No. This cannot be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So this beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene though. However, the fact that means this glass had absolutely no bearing on the case. She could have been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end, it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations, you've wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed the glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter had no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, the answer is no. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show him it has some deeper significance. So she took the glass away in her handbag, which she could also carry a gun in. The fact that she took the glass has deep significance here. Because it's the property of the restaurant. It's not some harmless act of pilfering, like taking a bar of soap home. You take soap from public baths. What? No! I mean, that isn't significant here. It's very significant, but it isn't the time or the place. There are more important things to concentrate on now. I think maybe you should reconsider your position too. Click the wrong one. Just by accident. It's the handbag. The lady put the glass in a handbag, you said. Yes, to try and keep up. Already explained in the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags with small items. Incorrect. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett did the following. There are no pockets on my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was a handbag. In which would perfectly be possible to conceal a gun. You're quite right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire the gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir. I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. Overly sharp, but logical. What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. You think so, Kazuma? Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary? In what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have have a piece of evidence here in which I had completely forgotten about. Oh, isn't that convenient? This photographic print. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, mesh-work bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. There was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. The convenience. The convenience. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. We just took critical damage. Inspector Hosonaga, will you submit that print as evidence at once? Certainly, Your Excellency. There is something interesting in that picture. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. The court has now shown considerable evidence. As this photographic print just submitted into the court record. Oh, sorry. Appears to have no further significance. I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in the matter. And I must make my ruling. Indeed. There's only one logical conclusion. The pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of the crime. I'm not guilty. No matter what Alira says. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around. I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? I'm sorry. You're not sorry. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the child to continue. I mean, this is it? I must say you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat while the strong eat. There's no way to defeat true justice. But it isn't true, is it? The fact that you can show in your own heart's content from the inside of your own cell. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma, what? Is there really no chance now to turn this trial around? You heard the judge. Nothing to do about that last photograph the detective that we can contest. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well, I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we were able to report to the British government on time after all. That smug little Ryosuke Naruhodo.
Yes!
Always interrupting. Wait, Your Excellency. Ryosuke. I don't think you can rule on this case.
Objection!
This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of this courtroom.
Yes!
Yes. Your Excellency, this is just a moment ago you said this. As this photographic print submitted appears to have no further significance. What's on his hand? There's no longer any room for doubt in the matter, and you must take my ruling. Now, that means if there was a problem with this evidence, some significant detail, I mean. And ruling on this case at this time would be out of the question. This is a blatant straw clutching. Look at the photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence.
You better know what you're doing, Ryosuke.
I understand your objection, counsel.
Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court scrutiny.
However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this Rocky's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph that just doesn't seem right. Only I could put my finger on it. What? But be warned that if I am unsatisfied with your response, this trial will be over with immediate response, with immediate effort. Do I make myself clear? You're very threatening, Judge. Yes, Your Excellency. So, taking a look at this photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before, we'll identify for the court where in this print we see significant detail to which you have alerted. Right there on the guy's arm.
Yes!
Look at this here. There is a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Dear me, I was pondering at what piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? It has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark. You're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it on the report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as the prosecutor points out, usually a firm connection to the case can be shown. I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course the lady was shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
What's your thinking on this, Ryosuke?
You believe this burn has something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. If I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So, what do you think? I should keep digging and digging? And just hope that I might uncover something useful? Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case, if we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Just give up, counsel. There's nothing you can possibly hope to do. Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I cannot allow you to pursue pursue what is little more than conjecture. I'm gonna shut my windows. If we had evidence is irrefutable, linked to the burn on the victim's wrist, then you would allow it. I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. As soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the colour draining from Miss Brett's face. I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. Time to find some evidence that proves that burn is useful. Then the defence will now present its evidence to the court. Aha!
Yes!
Yes! What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Ooh! Do hurry up, rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay a little longer with us if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible on this other photograph. I'm just going to shut my other window. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn? That's right there, isn't it?
Yes!
The beef steak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Ah! Your Excellency. Are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on this plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of the Campbell. Ah. The emblem on this plate and the victim's burn, they're exactly the same shape. Ooh! Yosuke, you're a genius. Thank you. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn. Wow. He was present at the restaurant.
Objection!
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before that. More like it happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Sadly, prosecutor, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion at the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hospinall? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense pointed out. This was no mild burn, that was for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that more likely would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable the victim would have let out a scream in pain then. I've been investigating the restaurant for several weeks now. I have not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter for the Campbell, I can testify that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter.
Yes!
Yes. There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective has said, anyone who burned themselves on a piping hot plate for a whole 3 seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hossignauer never heard the professor scream. Not on that day, or any before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, on that day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, Sergeant, the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without question, have heard him scream. And you agree, Prosecutor? Well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Minuski, you think? He was already dead at the time. I've never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this. I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. He was already dead. There's only one explanation I can think of. No, he had a dentist appointment. He had the anesthetic. That's what it was. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson he was already dead. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for a whole 3 seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. Big brain time. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness. Order, please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. Right, it isn't actually. Because you just say it was a note by the police detective on the site. Makes it look like it's a gunshot. He's probably not. He was probably poisoned. He had the burn. The gunshot was a playoff so it could be pinned on somebody else. This is just a ridiculous ploy by the student.
Objection!
No, prosecutor. It is you who have no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered the burn while at the restaurant, this whole case is turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it is true, as we now believe, the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But Your Excellency, the justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. Of course she can speak the language. Of course she can. Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Which is confusing because they're speaking English. Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother's tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are honoured by this lavish consideration you so graciously offer. Wow. I will now testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So we're finally going to hear our own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Yeah. Unfortunately, I have no idea if Bernard's is like that. And the way they brought my steak, the first one I agree is like less than a toast. Whereas I think the post-mortem report should know the possible cause of death beside the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life could have been taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. You poisoned him. You poisoned him. Hid the glass in her handbag. Our most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope this will be the last time after selling my lips with the coarse tones of your unbearable tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all.
Is a delight for me to hear you spilling. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of victims burn is utterly irrelevant.
Is it? I don't think so.
I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. What? Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brad. And put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. You do not. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination of this trial. Ooh, we're gonna do it. If you fail to demonstrate any problem with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on this case immediately. Is that clear? Yeah. Yes, Your Excellency. You may proceed with the cross-examination. Ooh, things are getting heated. Unfortunately, I have no idea what the poem on the is just like that. Unaware of my state, the professor and I realized I lost in the toast.
Yes!
Yes. Without leaving a trace, if someone is shot or strangled or stabbed or thrown from a height, or if a person's life is taken, there's always a telltale sign of traces on the body. Quite right, really. As our police forces have fully examined the body of deceased, there is no doubt. I always go for a flawless investigation. There would be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. Maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. Having said this, I said this right from the beginning, she poisoned them. If heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man. You're going to have to tell everyone exactly how you think the person lost his life? Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? Perish the thought, calling such a sweet young lady as innocent and oh, my honor. I will cut you down with dare cast such aspirations. A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. I need some evidence to back us up here.
Yes!
I think we've got our thing that we need to really push. Please start everything out of the crime scene for their examination. In this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. The Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly. Means that even if the investigation... Ooh! Even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. It doesn't even occur to your native detectives that try and preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful as I can, you understand?
Amazing. It's actually admitting that our police force may be flawed. Perhaps prosecutors stand some sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. Something piqued that other guy's interest. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. I need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink around. There is one thing I noticed. Something's been bothering me. You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her, Dr. Hossan Naga. The detective? Yes. He seems to react a little strange to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman himself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on the last statement again. Is this setting us up for the actual, trials afterwards?
Yes!
Yes. We skip through all this like that.
Wait!
There it is. Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective's been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful to not let anything slip. However, when they're just listening to someone else speak, I find they often let their guard down. You're right, look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man in his train of thought. Well, pursue? I'll explain how we do it now when we escape. All you do is with witness marker. What marker? At this moment we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. By moving the marker left and right with the D-pad buttons, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with air. You can catch the person at just the right time. You might include some new information. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere among the people in the stand, take a good look around. Move the marker across and focus on the detective. Tune with air and see what's on his mind.
Wait!
Excuse me!
Excuse me. What's the meaning of this? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to shock you. You're really lost in his own thoughts. Deeply. Risking this game's good though. Why does Kazuma have a sword in the sword room? I think it's maybe just his character. It's not the weirdest thing they've had in an Ace Attorney courtroom. It looks like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you just said? If there was something you'd like to say, please, share with the court.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? It's the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. You can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately. Ooh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? That's fair. Yeah, they've had all sorts. They've had whips, coffee, rock guitars. They had a samurai in the last one. They had like throwing knives. They've had practically everything you can think of. I think a sword's the least of their worries. Well, yes, if you don't mind. I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation involved in lawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of crime, preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. If there's going to present evidence, it's going to be like that critical blow. A crime scene thief? Well, said the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day of the in question. And yes, it's lost all its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle, I can see it. One day, our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming, I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept this glass bottle of water as evidence. And it will be poisoned. Can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well, counsel. You may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his avowal. And now we present it. After we investigate. It looks like there's a little left in the bottle. But let's just plain water now. I'm absolutely parched. Let's have a sip on this really going, no, whiskey. You can't do that. For one thing, it's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me in whiskey. More ways than one. I wonder, could there be anything in this water? Yes, you fool! You've gone all quiet. I think we might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility.
Yes!
Yes. I called this about an hour ago. What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there might be one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order, order, order! And on that day, he was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink. There's only one person I could possibly think have done it. Lord Brett, it was you, you scoundrel.
Objection!
This is outrageous to suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You little rookie imbecile. Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? You've forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one's individual's guilt with respect to one's crime. The fact is that this woman's British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. If I may, I will silence you forever.
Shut up!
Ooh. It is you who should be silent. Once I'm on the side of this murderer, dear lady. Where did that come from? You just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. To what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior. No matter how inferior they may be, we'll investigate this particular point thoroughly. The bottle, I mean, Inspector. And whether it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. Yeah, she put the poison in its glass and that's why it's in her handbag. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of this bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I had a test for every toxin that's available in the country at the present time. We found no traces of poison in the bottle of carbonate water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the Chief Coroner himself. I'm calling it now. It's in the glass. I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure is all ours. I was so sure. This can't be right. It falls into place if it was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution has asserted, the shot to the chest from the gun was the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I wish to apologize for creating a reduced closure, Miss Brett. Oh no, I was glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present to the court at this point? As a Sorry, Minosuke. I have nothing more. Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Hold it!
Please wait. What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for my intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Usato Mikotaba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Mikotaba? In my darkest hour, with no left to go, it appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, I had a small package, wrapped in fur sheet of cloth. Oh, come on! I'm putting it there because it's at midnight. That's it. Otherwise I'm going to be here until like 3 AM. Still a good game though. Even though it's taking me 3 hours to get halfway through the first trial. Okay, let's see if I can... Let's see if there's anyone I can like drop raids on. Oh, there's a couple of people. Drop a raid on Mishi. He's not exactly... They aren't exactly playing the same game, but I can still drop a raid on Mishi, I think. Let's see. Yeah, let's do it on Mishi.
Kind of you.
Oh no. Actually, I can. We're doing it anyway. Okie dokie. I'm putting it here, and I'm gonna go and get some sleep. But I'll leave you in the reliable hands of Mishi, who is an awesome streamer. With that, I bid you a wonderful evening, a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, wherever you may be. Thank you, and goodbye.
Have there been any terrible incidents?
There was a point where the server crashed and someone lost some of their stuff to like a lag spike in the clear lag. It was like diamonds and stuff. So, I mean, we're not gonna tell them to go mine again.
Thank you guys. Thank you. My name's Kay. True. Thank you, Kay, for the raid.
Always, like, justified.
Hello, Raiders. How you doing today? Doing good, doing good. Hey there, hope you're doing great. I'm Mushi Mishi, and I'm with Quinnabee right now. We are just Setting up some stuff in the nether, doing a little nether road. Thank you, Kay. How was your stream? I saw you streaming earlier. I don't remember what it was, but I was there for like a second when I was working. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. Hope you're doing great today. Sorry about that. Someone gave me a raid, so I had to jump.
All good, I saw.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for coming.
Alright, I'm gonna smelt a whole bunch of stone.
Okay. I will do the same. Oh my god. There's a lot of new stuff on here. I just realized.
Where at?
Just like this whole like stone brick thing that you walked over just now, and like there's a bunch of new stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they're doing over there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice.
Yeah, I hope you had a great one, Kay. How was your stream? I need a blush expression? True. This is Akira's stuff. I shall go make an anvil now. Thank you for the book. Very appreciated.